morning, everybody. This panel is getting past the muddled Doldrums in novel writing. If anybody is here, not here, I mean, here not for that, then you're in the wrong place. Authors discuss the muddle in the middle that often occurs in novel writing. What is it? Why does it happen? And what are some ways to get past it? My name is Anna Bortolotto, and I'm here as your moderator, and I am a victim of the muddle in the middle monster. Who else? I want to see a show of hands. Who else has gotten stuck that way? Awesome. Thank you. I think we're going to start with introductions. We're going to, in addition to who you are and what you do, just a brief anecdote about your first muddle in the middle experience. And who would like to go first? Linda, please.
I wanted to go first because I have to confess I'm an imposter on this panel. Even though I'm a published author, for some reason I misread the program, and I thought it was like a little informal coffee clatch of sitting around and kvetching about being stuck in the middle of a novel. Because I, in fact, and I have to say, so that you can see I'm not a wastrel or some sort of slagger, that I am published. One of my books, in fact, is a Canadian bestseller, sold 25,000 copies. Oh, wow. My first mystery has, had some good response. But unfortunately, all of my writing contracts with my publisher, who loves me, are on hold until I get the next Lulu Malone mystery done. And I am stuck in the middle. I have excellent excuses. I was at the hospital caregiving my aunt and taking my laptop and staying up all night and doing the first draft, and the first draft isn't there, and I am stuck. I've tried whiteboards. I've tried starting from the end. I've tried color coding the characters and the situations and the music that plays. And finally, as a last resort, I saw this panel and I thought, fine, I'm going to be on this panel and I'm going to learn and take notes.
Good luck. You won't like my recipe at all. Yeah, I'm Dave Duncan. I've written a lot of stuff. My first meeting with this was rather tragic. I sent off a book and it was bought by Del Rey, who was #1 in those days. By the time they got the ink dry on the contract, I sent them another one, science fiction, and they bought that. Before they got the first one out, I sent them a trilogy, and they bought that. So I sold them 5 books in a year. I thought, this, I've got a career going here. This is easy. And then I sent them in another one when, the Wheels of Returning books were coming out. And they sat on it and sat on it and sat on it. And then Shelley Spiro, who was a science fiction editor, phoned me up on New Year's Eve and said, no. Sure, said Shelley's a nice person. She's Jewish. I don't think she realized it was Christmas Eve. She said, we'll give you a contract to clean it up, without telling me what was wrong with it, really. So I did finally fix it up, and that was West of January. They did quite well. And one week, and Aurora, doesn't go that one way now. So don't give up hope completely.
I'm David B. Coe, also D.B. Jackson. I write fantasies for Tor. And my first experience with this was my first novel. I had outlined the novel and I was cruising right along, and I hit this point around 65% of the way through the manuscript, and woke up one morning and was in just an utter panic because I realized that one of the plot points that was going to get me to my end didn't really work, and oh my God, I don't have a story. There's no story. There's no book here. I should never have given up being a historian. What was I thinking? And it took me about a week to work my way through it, and then I got the rest of the book written. Well, okay, so we start book 2, and I'm going along rather nicely, and I reached about 65%, and all of a sudden my plot points seem to have vanished, and I don't know what I'm doing, and what was I thinking when I gave up history? And so I got past that one too, and fast forward about 3 books into my Winds of the Foreland series, and I come down one day from working up in my office. My wife is in the kitchen, And she says, how'd work go? I said, oh, there's no book here. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but this book it's just not working. She said, oh, 65%, huh?
Yeah, my experience was kind of like that. I wrote my first, probably 4 or 5 books. Well, it's 4 books, but 3 published books, without ever having really much interaction with authors, because I was born and raised in Montana, and when I told my friends I was writing fantasy, they went, ooh, and I'm going, not that kind of fantasy. So I was basically an educated reader, the first 3 books I wrote, and then I started the 3rd one, and I thought, I want to write, started the 4th one, it was Hobbs' Bargain, and I thought, I want to write a character, a novel in which the character is transformed from one thing into the other. And I started the first chapter, and I got her, and I didn't like her, and I couldn't connect to her, but I don't know, how many of you read Hobbs' Bargain? Okay, that first chapter in which the world is destroyed and her family's destroyed and the town is destroyed and everything's destroyed, that all happened because I was trying to figure out how to make her a charismatic character. and all I knew is somebody had once said, just have bad things happen to them and then people will like them. And that didn't work. So we moved to Eugene, Oregon, and I joined the Weirdos Writers Group, which is this huge, immensely powerful writers group, and they're terrific at taking amateurs and turning them into professionals. And I joined it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a professional. I have 3 books published. I know what I'm doing, and I had not a clue. And they taught me, and it was wonderful. And one of the things they taught me on this book is that your character has to do something. If your character doesn't do something, nobody likes them. If the story happens to them, instead of them happening to the story, you don't connect very well with them. So that was cool. But I also found out that my tendency to get stuck at 65% of the way through I was not alone in that. And we'll talk about that more. Did I introduce myself?
I think you meant.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so.
You're Robert Jordan.
Yes. Next question. Probably the heart of why everybody's here. How did you get out of it? What method did you use to get past that first time?
We know what Linda's answer is.
I'm here. Well, also, seriously, I'm not out of it yet. I'm finding already the comments helpful, and basically I'm just writing another book, like about my adventures in Kijiji, which my publisher wants once I get the next Lulu.
Well, how you get out of it depends on how you got into it, I guess. What's wrong? Certainly, the character must do something. And that was what was wrong with my West of January book. In the middle of the book, I was just looking at the story happen. The things I wanted to happen were happening. He just suffered them. And so he must do things, and he means also she. Do things and want things. That's very important. People want things, the furniture doesn't. And when I saw this panel, I thought, well, that's easy. I'll go and straighten them all out on that. Because I come up with an opening, and it's easy enough to find openings. It's very easy to find openings. I've got drawers full of openings. And then I have to think of an ending. I don't let myself start until I've got a rough idea of how it's going to end. I made that mistake once. And it wouldn't end. And then I just sort of go along. My routine is on a Saturday I will read over what I wrote Thursday to polish, and Friday I will edit again, or edit, and then Saturday I will write something new, and I've got an idea of what I'm going to write on Sunday, and a vague idea of what happened on Monday, and it works beautifully. Just keep going and doing that for a couple of months, and you've got a book. Usually. But sometimes I get stuck. I've got one, for example, that I've written well over 100,000 words, but the main character I decided is an abominable shit, and I don't like him. He's a psychopath, and I can't get back in that book because of him. My saddest experience was one where I had my editor said, now what's next? Sent us a proposal, cleaned up something, sent it off, and yes, fine, go ahead. So I wrote book 1, sent it in, and then I got stuck in book 2. Absolutely stuck. I couldn't see where it was going. So I said, would they mind pulling that book, and I'll offer them another one that I had written already. And they took that. And I put the first one away for years. And this is usually my way, I'm sorry about this, my way of dealing with it is just to put it away. And then after a couple of years, or a year even, you come back and start reading it as a story written by somebody else. And you usually get to the end and think, wow, I see what's wrong. I know what I want to happen. And that's the problem solved. But of course, if you've got a deadline, this doesn't help.
Yes, and no income.
So fortunately, I eventually came back to that, and the first part is now published again, or not published. It's coming out next month as King of Swords. The second part is Queen of Stars, and that will be out in January. And that whole process has taken 7 or 8 years. And now I'm eating and begin to wonder about some of the things I've got in the drawers waiting to be finished. But that's my answer. Put it away if you can and do something else. And don't throw it out. The story. Come back to it.
That's very useful, thank you.
Yeah.